Welcome to my channel again. Today's story is titled The Ritual of the Boiling Pot, A Mother's Dilemma. In the heart of the African savannah, where drums echoed under the starlight, a night of fear and mysterious events unfolded. The villagers gathered around the sacred baobab tree, its branches stretching towards the heaven, bearing witness to what was about to take place. At the center of the gathering sat a large clay pot boiling over a fire as smoke spiraled into the air, thick with the scent of herbs and offerings. In her trembling arms, a young mother held her newborn, wrapped in colorful kente cloth. Her heart raced as the village elder, adorned with beads and cowries, raised his staff to silence the crowd. The child had been born under rare circumstances, moon of the ancestors. As a sign, he was destined for greatness. But traditions demanded his life as a sacrifice. It was said that if the child was sacrificed, he would bring prosperity and blessings to the land. The child thus was to be sacrificed before 5 years old, and that has to be before the first rays of dawn. Tears strode down the mother's eyes. Her name was Agatha. As she looked into her son's peaceful face, could she defy the will of her ancestors and save her child? Or would she be forced to surrender him to the ancient ritual? The drums grew louder and the villagers began to chant. The mother clutched her child closer, her heart torn between the love of her son and her loyalty to her people. Would she yield to the ancient ways, or would she reject this tradition? As Agatha cradled her son, her mind raced back to the stories her own mother had told her, stories of ancestors who had made sacrifices, mothers who had given their children for the good of the land. The gods blessed the village when they were appeased, and so did the elders claimed. But the mother's heart rebelled against the thought of losing her child. She could feel his tiny chest rise and fall, each breath a spark of life that she had fought to bring into this world. The elder's voice boomed over the crowd. Tonight we honor the old ways. This child, born under the moon of the ancestors, will bring us rain, food, and prosperity. The villagers murmured their approval, but some looked away, uneasy with what was going on. Wait, the mother said, her voice loud and strong as she broke through the crowd. She stepped forward, clutching her son, her eyes burning with fierce determination. She had kept him till 4, and she is not going to let them take this lively boy away from her. Her eyes burning with fierce determination, she said, "What if there is another way? A way to honor the gods without the sacrifice?" The crowd fell silent, taken aback by her boldness. The elder narrowed his eyes, his face looking stern. "You question the wisdom of the gods? You risk their wrath." The mother's heart raced, but she stood her ground. "The gods gave me this child," she argued, her voice trembling yet unyielding. "How can they also demand his life? I believe they would want him to live to grow to fulfill his destiny." And if you defile the will of the ancestors, the old man said, you take responsibility for the drought, the famine, and the hardship that follows. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Some were swayed by her courage, others their eyes softening with sympathy, while others clung to the fear of breaking tradition. Suddenly, an old woman stepped forward, leaning on a walking stick. Her skin was withered. Her eyes held wisdom of countless generations. She had lived through famine and abundance, joy and sorrow. She spoke softly, yet her words carried weight. In the old days, we offered the best of what we had to the land, not just flesh, but in spirit. This child may have a purpose far beyond sacrifice. She turned to the elder, her gaze piercing. What if the gods are talking to us, testing if we are going to find another way to honor them without spilling blood? The old man hesitated and glanced towards the mother, his eyes pleading as if telling her to succumb. And also his eyes at the villagers whose silence was thick with expectations. After a long pause, he nodded slowly. Then let it be a test, he said. He declared, we shall see if the gods favor this, our decision. We would offer prayers, offerings, and good deeds. Maybe they will accept. If the rain should fall, we will know this child's life is spared and the child is blessed. Relief washed over Agatha's face as she clutched her son close, her heart swelling with gratitude. The villagers dispersed, and that night they prayed fervently, offering what little food they had to people. When dawn came, a gentle rain began. In its life-giving touch, the villagers rejoiced, believing the gods had blessed the child and accepted their offerings. From that day on, the villagers honored the gods through their generosity and kindness rather than through sacrifice and killing of flesh. And the child grew into a wise leader who brought his people peace and prosperity. The moral of the story is that the gods are not wicked to make terrible demands. So question every sacrifice. There is a way out. Thank you for watching my channel again. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can leave a comment. Feel free to give us your own moral lessons. Let us learn from this story. My channel remain at African-Tale. You are amazing. Thank you again.